All right. Hello, everyone. It's the top of the hour, so we'll go ahead and get started today. I'm Kaylee Hansen with SVA Consulting, and joining me today is Julia and Austin from my side. And then we have a new face on today, David, who will be walking us through the majority of the presentation as well. So today's topic is all about streamlining document generation and e-signatures within Acumatica. So we'll see a lot of that functionality as we go through today. Before we get to the good stuff, a couple of housekeeping items. So if you're new to the webinar, welcome. And if you're coming back and returning, welcome back. As we go through today's webinar, please feel free to stop and ask any questions. If it makes sense to kind of pause and answer those directly as we're going through, we can do so. Otherwise, we'll be monitoring the chat and we'll have a designated Q&A session at the end as well. So with that, we'll take a look at today's agenda. So we mentioned David being our special guest today. He's with Heuristyc, so they'll do a brief introduction on just who they are as a company and some of their core products. Then we'll get into an overview of two core products, PowerSign and PowerDoc, directly integrated within Acumatica for, again, kind of that e-signature component and that document streamlining. So we'll see that, and then we'll get into the live demo. So we'll see that in action, how it interfaces with Acumatica. And then from there, we'll wrap up with our Q&A and a couple of next steps as well. So with that, I'll kind of stop sharing and I'll hand it over to David for some further introduction and presentation.
Thank you very much. All right, first, let me introduce myself. My name is David. I'm the Client Success Manager and Product Owner for Heuristyc. And Heuristyc, we are a software development company that is specialized in Acumatica. We've been in the Acumatica ecosystem for many years now. We actually developed the field service module that is currently part of the core Acumatica product today. Back then, it was a third-party product that we developed, and Acumatica liked the module so much that it acquired not only the product, but the entire company, and our team became Acumatica engineers for many years. So we were almost 7 years inside the Acumatica engineering team, and after agreement ended, we came back to the community, now under the name of Heuristyc, and we've been offering development services and products to the community. We have over 55 stars review on the Acumatica marketplace. By far, the development services partner with the most reviews, all 5 stars. And this year we won the Acumatica Development Services Excellence Award at the Acumatica Summit. Our team has delivered at this point over 400 projects in the past 3 years and a half. So we are very well versed across entire Acumatica. And we do have other products as well, like the Time Clock, which is a clock-in, clock-out solution designed inside Acumatica, and the Acumatica Point of Sale, which is an official Acumatica product as well. So let's talk a little bit about PowerSign and PowerDoc. So these are two separate tools that are very synergistic and work very well together. PowerDoc is a solution that allows you to generate a PDF document using information from Acumatica based on a Word template, meaning that you can design your document in Word, fill it up with placeholders or variables, and use it as your template to generate PDF documents inside Acumatica in a couple seconds, just a single click. PowerSign, on the other hand, is an e-signature integration product that currently is connecting Acumatica to SignNow, but on the next release, we will also be working with DocuSign as an alternative sign platform. So basically, it also allows you to do everything in a single click. It handles that document that you may have in Acumatica, that PDF, and sends out invitations through the e-signature platform to the recipients. This doesn't require you to log into their platform, doesn't require you to manually input any type of signature boxes or contacts. You can do everything from Acumatica without having to manually edit every single document that you create. And we'll see that in a second. So together, They work great. They work great separate, but together they really save time for you because with one click you can generate a document, and with the other click you can upload and send invitations to all your contacts that need to sign that document. So what's the advantage of managing project quotes, change orders with DocuSign and with PowerDoc and Sign Now? Well, basically, you can do better documents. As you know, the Acumatica Report Designer is a great tool, especially when you have to do complex table calculations and aggregations. But for simple documents, it kind of lacks a little bit on the visual side. So being able to create documents from a Word template allows you to style them however you wish. It's much more flexible and much easier to create the template. The template can also be easily modified, just as you would normally change any Word document. You do exactly the same, and you just re-upload the document to Acumatica. That saves a lot of time. You don't have to learn to use the Acumatica Report Designer. You don't have to have a special privilege to upload reports. You can just do it yourself as a user. Finally, being able to use PowerSign does help you with traceability from Acumatica, because you will be able to check from Acumatica what's the status on the signatures, if they have signed or not. And when all the signers, all the contacts on a document have completed interaction, the PowerSign tool will automatically download a copy of the final document down to Acumatica. So you don't really need to leave the platform to do anything. And finally, being built inside Acumatica allows you to streamline your processes and leverage any other tool in Acumatica that you may want to use. And this means if you want to create gadgets, if you want to do business events for special notifications, if you want to do side panels for reporting purposes, anything that you can normally do with Acumatica screens, you can also apply to both PowerDoc and PowerSign, because they are built as Acumatica screens with the Acumatica framework. All right, so we've talked a lot. Let's go into the actual demonstration. So it all starts with a Word document, the template that I was mentioning. So what you're seeing on screen is the actual template that we use at Heuristyc for many of our statement of works. As you can see, this is a Word file, includes an image on the background, our logo, everything is styled out. And here is where we start adding the placeholders or variables that I mentioned. So in this case, we want things to hold information on the project, the customer, the end clients, who was the reporter for this project, the date of the project. And then we have a little bit of boilerplate text that, as you know, sometimes if your templates in Report Designer are long, having the right placement for all the text in the template is a very hard thing to do. So in Word, it's just as simple as styling it out and adding it however you need. Other than that, we have some additional information here for the pricing. We also have a table, and we'll take a look into this in a second, but we have a table with all the items that I want to add in the quote. And finally, we have a section for the signature. Up until this part, everything has been powered. So it's a template that allows you to get information from Acumatica and insert it into a Word document that's going to turn into a PDF. But this part right here, these special characters here, this is PowerSign. This is what allows the system to recognize that they need to add automatically a signature box in here and a date box in here for that contact. So we'll see how that works in a second. But keep in mind that there are variables or placeholders for PowerDoc to put Acumatica information, and there are some special labels for PowerSign, so it recognizes the signature boxes. All right, so once we have created the Word file, what do we actually do in Acumatica? So we have our PowerDoc template screen, which basically allows you to upload the file, the Word file. And once you click load variables, it recognizes all those placeholders automatically. And then you can map this to the actual Acumatica field that you want to use. For example, if we're doing project quotes, we can see that we have access to all the views in that screen. That also means that if you have any customizations on the screen, anything built custom for additional information, it's also going to be available to map it out in a PowerDoc document. And from here, you just need to select which field from the list of fields on that view you want to map. For example, I'm mapping my SOW to my quote number, my project to my opportunity ID, my customers to the business account, and so forth. I can do dates. I can do a lot of information in here. I can map it out however I want. For next version, we're also releasing the capability of using a generic inquiry, a GI in Acumatica, as a source for information. So if you do have some complex calculation that you would like to put in a PowerDoc, you can just create your own GI and then map it from there, which simplifies the entire process. Okay, so as you can see, we also have some interesting options in here. We can select the output to be a PDF or a Word document. You can use prefixes for the documents to add specifics. You can have as many templates you want per screen. There's no limit on that. And actually, if you click the screen ID, you can see all the out-of-the-box screens that already support PowerDoc. We're close to 50 screens right now, everywhere from AP, AR, manufacturing, inventory, fixed asset, service, AR, projects, particular projects, sales orders, all of that is already supported out of the box. So once you have worked on the mapping, the template, and keep in mind that we assist you on creating and mapping your first templates so you get a better hold of the process. And of course, we have all the documentation on the syntax and how to add those placeholders and add those labels. Once you have done that, it's as simple as going to the screen. In this case, we were doing project quotes. The simply is going to the screen and selecting the action that you want. Notice that I have 4 different templates here, 4 different actions for PowerDoc. That means that I have associated 4 templates to the project quote screen. I can quickly check which one is the one I want because I have it named here as generate quote. I can add whatever name I want for the action, print PDF, generate quote, generate special report, whatever you want to add in here is going to show directly on the actions under PowerDoc. In this case, I'm just going to click generate quote. It may take, depending on the quote, from 5 to 20 seconds, depending on complexity. If you are mapping images, if you're including images, if you have complex tables, but as you can see, it's fairly quick. And the file has already been attached here. If we go to the PowerDoc preview, we can see that we have here the PDF document already attached on screen, and we can see that it matches the information from the quote. So my quote number is here, PQ40, my customer, which is Alta Ace. The reporter was the contact Amelia Strong. And let's zoom in for the rest. So I have some basic price and discount information, but again, I have my table with all the items that were included in the quote, and then I have some information here for the signature. All right. So in this case, that's what PowerDoc does. You simply come here and with a single click, you generate the PDF document based on the template that you already set up for this. It's as simple as quick as that. One click, one document. Now, any questions or comments so far about PowerDoc?
Not seeing any comments posted at this point, David, but again, just a reminder for all those in attendance today, feel free to post any questions that you may have, and we'll be sure to address those.
Perfect. So now we're going to connect the process to PowerSign and how it looks. So as you notice in project quotes, we have added 2 new tabs in here, PowerSign and Signer's Contacts. So PowerSign tracks the file that we just created. And currently we haven't done anything with the file, so it's just listed in here. And Signer Contacts basically detected on the file that was attached those labels for customer and heuristic. So if I go back in here and I take a quick look, I'll be able to see that I have one label named customer and one label called heuristic. And the system already detected those. Now I can add my contacts from my Acumatica contact list. For example, for this, I'm gonna add Gabriel, our CEO. He doesn't really mind that I spam him with emails. And for heuristic, I'm gonna be the one signing. So I'm gonna search for myself. Notice that I can modify these emails if I want to, absolutely no problem with that. And we even have an order if we want to send the document for signers in a specific approval order. So you can set the order for the documents here, everyone at the same time, or in a layered step. So once we do that, let's save. Notice that the status is still on sign. And now in the PowerSign section, we have two options. We can just upload the document, or we can upload and send invitations automatically. We're going to be doing that, just a single click. And this is going to upload that PDF file to Sign Now. Sign Now is going to recognize who the signers are. Ooh. It may seem that hold on a second. Of course, this happens during a demo and not when I did it before. Just 1 second. Let me test that the credentials are quickly valid. Test connections, perfect. So let me, oh, it did upload the document. It is uploaded, but it seems that there was a problem sending the invitations, and that might be on my account. Apologies for that. So let me refresh Sign Now. And here's a document. It was created. I can review it. So document was uploaded to Sign Now. But there was a problem sending the invitation. My test credentials expired. Apologies for that. Okay, well, I'm having a small issue with my test credentials for Sign Now. I'll have to review that. But basically this, and let me search for a different quote in here that I have prepared for cases like this. So this is how it actually looks like when you upload and send information. So in this case, I can check my information here, my document name. My status is partially signed because I did sign the document and Gabriel hasn't, and my status gets updated. And I can also search for a fully signed document. And you will see the actual downloaded document.
David, we do have a couple of questions that came in, and I think now would be a good time to address these before we get too much further ahead. The first is a question from an attendee that's asking, is PowerDoc able to generate documents based on process? For instance, when we create a shipment, we want to generate documents based on the shipment line items and their quantities.
It would require some modifications, for example, creating a business event or some small customization to be able to trigger it. But since the PowerDoc is just an action on screen, it can be managed by the business event. So it would require a little bit of modification to set it up correctly, but it should be able to. It depends on the specific scenario. Acumatica's processing screens sometimes have certain restrictions, so it's something that we would need to test for the specific case that they want. But in general, it could be triggered by a business event based on the fact that it's just another action screen.
Got it. Thank you for that clarity. And then the other question that we had is, are there tools to help design the document templates? So are the templates designed in Microsoft Word or elsewhere? And how do we make sure that the fields from Acumatica and signing fields are coded/mapped correctly?
Since it's a Word file, if you have any specific tool to generate the Word document, you can use it. Normally, so far, our clients just start from scratch, install out their templates the way they want it to look. But no additional tool out of the box that we promote for doing that. There are many tools in the market to generate Word documents with the specific styles, including the styles inside the Word document or the Word program. So if you want to use any of those, you are more than okay to use them. Now, for the mapping part, there's a couple things that you can do to ensure the mapping is correct. The first thing is when you're doing the Power template and you select a field, you also get this small pen in here that opens the the field editor from Acumatica. And this has a validate button that you can quickly check and see if the validation passed. For simple fields, it's very straightforward, but when you start doing some more complex things with functions, because you have access to text functions, simple text, simple math, date and time, all that you see on the screen, then you can build more complex formulas within the simplicity of the editor, and you can still check the validation. That's one way to do it. The other thing that you can do is Acumatica allows you to see through some customizing access rights, the name and the view of any fields. So for example, if I want to map out the universe of measure on a table, I can press a couple buttons on my keyboard. For Mac, it's the control and the option buttons, and the cursor changes to this sign. So when you press that, the system will tell you the view name and the name of the field. In this case, it's the view products, that the data field is UOM. So with that, I can search, for example, the products view. And on the products view, I can select the UOM field. And now I'm sure that I'm pointing to the right field. So it's a very simple process. You can confirm the names. Most of them are very straightforward. If you're using the main view of the document, it's a very simple process because the system already suggests the main view for the document. In this case, it's quote. But if you need to go into the details, you can always use that to ensure that you have the right name for everything. Any field that is visible on screen can be mapped into a PowerDoc document. It doesn't matter. You will always be able to see exactly these names. If you want to map the bill to contact, you can see the account name, and that's going to be the quote contact view name, and the data field is full name. So if I come here and I want to go, I'll search for quote contact, I can select quote contact, and I can select the full name field. So I'm sure that for this description, I'm mapping exactly the field that I want to map. And again, we guide you through your first template, so we can ensure that you are doing the right mapping, and we will explain and provide documentation for the syntax on how to do, because you can do things like simple text, which I showed you here, but you can also do things like tables. So you can map and have a table. It has a specific syntax. You can also map fields that are special characters in Acumatica. For example, the inventory description from the stock items, or the detailed description from change request, that allow you to do some more style text, like adding bullets, colors, all of that, you can do that and say, well, I'm mapping not a plain text, but a rich text. You can also map images with a specific syntax. You can add and attach images to the document. And again, there are many possibilities on how to style things. There are some visibility conditions. You can hide certain rows based on filter criteria as well. So you can manipulate the data a little bit before putting it in the template to ensure that is looking exactly the way you want it to look. Okay, so we have covered all of this. We have covered how to create a template, how to map the variables, on screen how to generate the documents directly. And on PowerSign, I show you how to upload the documents, and unfortunately, it's not sending the invitations due to an issue with my credentials that were working yesterday, but they don't seem to be working today. We'll check on that. But yes, basically the system will allow you to track the status. There's a very simple action for that. So you can always check, for example, once you upload the document and send invitation, you will have a sync status action in here that can check the status of the document, it's been signed or not. And we also have a processing screen for checking the status across the system for all documents that you can put on a schedule and check your status every hour, every day, however you want it to be. All right, so the PowerDoc allows you to create a document. PowerSign allows you to send invitations and check the status directly from the Acumatica screen without having to move around. Perfect. So in general, we're going to see other examples. For example, from the project screen, it's a very common one to generate documents. You can do things like generate your project charter or generate an MSA or the project contract if you want to. So let's take, for example, one of these projects, and let's see what I have for templates generated in here. In this case, for example, I have a project charter and a project status summary. So if I do project charter, it generates immediately, and let's do project status summary as well. Perfect. So I go to PowerDoc preview, and I should have my two files. Notice that the PowerDoc preview works with files attached on the screen, any PDF or any image that you have on the screen, regardless if it was generated by PowerDoc or not, you can use this for preview as well. In this case, for example, I have my project charter, very simple summary of what the project is going to be. It took me 2 seconds, and all of this is information from screen. So I have my target date, my end date for the project. I have some project scope that was added in here. I have, in this case, I don't have any key stakeholder in here, but I could add them very easily. And let's do that for a second. If I want to check, for example, my template for the project charter, we're going to take a look at the Word file. And this is what the template looks for me. So I'm adding the project ID, project description, project manager, customer, and date. And then I'm adding some additional information in here. And adding my stakeholders, and I have a grid for my stakeholders. I want to show the role, the name, the phone, and the email. So let's take a look at the template and how that was mapped. So I have my project chart, and I can see that for the state, I have added everything in here. So I'm using role, contact ID, phone, description from the project contacts. So for projects, if I check my contact section. Oh, sorry, that was not the original in here. So here I can add contacts, for example. Let's say that for this, I'm gonna be adding just the first one. Role, this is gonna be the controller for the project. I'm gonna add someone else to be, for example, the consultant. And I'm gonna be someone else that is gonna be my administrator. So I added all that information in here. I just need to save. And I want to generate my project charter again. Once I do this, I will go to PowerDoc. I can see that on my project charter, on the key stakeholders section, I have the ones that I just added. So I have my controller, my consultant, and my administrator. And if I need to change something in here, let's say, for example, this is not my administrator, this is actually my crew supervisor. I just need to save here, generate again. And refresh this. So I can see here, now Alan is my crew supervisor, is no longer my administrator. So this is real-time information changing here. You just need to recreate the file and it's already added there. And let's do something else. Let's say that we want to change the template itself in Word. So let's say that for my project charter, I want to add a new section. And I want to add a section 8 that is going to be special considerations.
And if I could interrupt you there, David, I think there's a question that might be relevant to show with what you're about to show us here. I'm wondering if you can speak to when you may use joins as part of these templates. So, for example, if there's some of the fields that are needed are not part of the quotes table, how the system would handle that, or how you'd recommend going about configuring that. So this particular attendee said some fields are not available inside the quote slash sales order slash invoice, for example. A customer email might not be listed on the quote document, and you would need to access the customer table or maybe a field for a preferred name, for example.
Correct. Up until the current version, we have managed that through certain customizations. So out of the box, we have included additional fields on project quotes and projects precisely for that reason. So we have added specific views to subcontracts, projects, and project quotes to get more information on site tables. That's been how we have handled it up until now. From starting the next version, we will allow to add GIs to the source information of the templates. That means that you could create a GI for the project that has all your contacts, all your information, addresses, anything that you want to add in there, just a simple generic inquiry. And you can use that as a source of information to complement what's on the screen. And you would be able to map that GI and get the contact information from there without any additional customization required. So up until now, we have done it through customization, adding extra views to the screen. They don't have to show when you open on the UI. As long as the view is listed on the screen, you will be able to use it for the template. And for starting next version, GI should cover over 90% of the cases where you would need customization. So that's going to be basically out of the box. So what I wanted to show in here for special considerations, let's say, for example, that payment needs to be processed upfront, 50% to start the project, for example. I just added this clause to my template. I don't really want to map anything else from the screen, but my conditions for the chart need to be updated. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna save. Now it's as simple as coming to the PowerDoc templates, uploading that file again, and you're good. Now if I go to my projects and I recreate my project charter, which again takes in this case 2 seconds. If I refresh the PDF, I will see that at the end, I have my special considerations already added in here. So there's no editing on the report designer, there's no complex modifications. You just take your Word file, you add or change whatever you want to add in Word, you re-upload it, and all the changes are immediately available for the screen where the template is mapped to. Of course, if you add new variables because you wanted to add a new table or add a new field, a new section with information from Acumatica, you would come here, load the variables, map whatever you added new, and then it becomes immediately available for the screen. So modifying your templates as simple as it can be, real-time access to information, real-time access to modifications. Perfect. So we have seen that now on projects. We have seen that on project quotes. This applies to things like change orders, for example, for projects. So if we want to go and check the change orders in here, let me show you. We also have a template for change orders. So this is how it looks, just a project ID, basic information on the change order based on the budgets. And then I want a section to be able to send that for approval on Sign Now. So if I go to the change orders, for example, we have this already created. This is a simple services change order. It's adding basically a commitment for a backup. It's additional backup time for servers. It has all the costs, the revenue, margin, anything that you want to do. So I just come here, I go to my PowerDoc actions to generate my change order. And now I can go to PowerDoc preview. And based on the template that I have, I can now see that I have my change order in here, all the information that is taken here from the project name, customer, dates, everything is updated here. And I have my section in here down here, so I can set signers. And after I set my signers, I can quickly upload. In this case, I'm just going to upload, but I could upload and send straight to the invitations to the signers. So again, couple of clicks and you're good to go. In this case, it's already been uploaded. I can check my information, what's the document name, my ID inside now, the status, who updated or uploaded the document and when. And it will also track when the invitation is sent and the date it was fully signed by all signers. So all that traceability on all of this, of course, you can put it into a document, you can put it on a report, in a gadget, a GI, all of this is Acumatica information that is accessible to all the tools. And my signers will also keep track of who signs and who doesn't. So basically those are the two products. I apologize for the invitation part of PowerSign not working today. I am able to provide some additional videos on that part in case you're curious, but what I will tell you is that once you have uploaded the document, in this case, the document will reach out like this, and the person is going to take a link where they can just add their signature and their signature date in this case, which is what I have configured. And they don't even have to be in Acumatica, or you don't have to even need to leave Acumatica to do any of this. All of these labels are automatically recognized by the system from the template onward. And that's pretty much PowerDoc, generate documents easily, one click. PowerSign, upload and send invitations, again, easy and one click. The idea is that in 2 clicks, you can skip all the process of modifying documents, manually entering information, manually adding signature boxes, manually adding invitation emails, logging to a different platform. Everything is done from Acumatica. 2 clicks, will process.
And then, David, related to the signing of the documents, are you able to speak a little bit more to what is seen on the receiving end? So let's say it's a customer who's signing one of these documents. Can you also speak to whether or not it's mobile friendly, if they're signing, let's say, on their smartphone? And then once those signatures are captured, is there some sort of notification that gets sent back to whoever initiated that document that that document has in fact been signed?
Correct. What we normally recommend is having a centralized account to send documents. So you actually only need one Sign Now account for the document, which is the one that's going to send invitations to all the contacts. Now, the recipient will receive an email with an invitation to sign. Once they register in Sign Now, they will be able to sign the document, and that sends a notification to the main account, which is the account that sent the document initially. Since normally that account is handled by IT or as a project management level team, what we recommend and what we have out of the box is some business scenarios. So when the document is fully signed or one of the signature status is updated, that upon the change of this status, you can send either a notification to the, for example, to the owner of the change, or sorry, the owner of the change order, or the owner of the project, or the project manager. You can create business events to send emails, mobile app notifications, whatever you want to do to notify the person that created or is in charge of the document that it's being signed. So basically, recipient gets an email. They need to sign into the e-signature platform to sign the document. And then you can configure many types or different types of notifications in Acumatica to ensure that the creator of the document is properly notified.
Perfect. And then I think we probably have time for one more question that came through the chat. Someone had asked, what if the client wants to use a wet signature, print and sign? We still have clients that we don't trust using e-signature. David, do you want to touch on that at all?
That's actually a very good question. I'm trying to think of an example for that. So obviously the e-signature part or PowerSign only works with the signature platforms. But for PowerDoc, I'm trying to think how that would look in terms of the connection. Well, you can still generate the document with PowerDoc and leave a space for the wet sign or the wet signature. So that wouldn't be a problem, but it would require you to somehow scan back the document into Acumatica once it's been signed. But yes, you could definitely generate using PowerDoc. You can generate the template and leave a space for the signature, for the wet signature section. And at the end of the day, PowerDoc and PowerSign are independent products. You can generate documents with PowerDoc that don't even require a signature. Um, for example, what we saw on the project charter, that doesn't really require a signature for the project. You could do things like, and we are adding this next release, you could add things like inventory text specifications or manuals automatically generated and added spec sheets for inventory items. You could add specific documents for vendors or customers. We're also expanding PowerSign to vendors and customers to do things like contracts, master service agreements, pretty much anything that will require a signature from them. But you could also get just regular information or regular templates from your company's documentation in there without requiring signatures. So PowerDoc does allow you to work like that and does not require PowerSign to work efficiently. And the other way around, you can use PowerSign without PowerDoc as long as you include those labels in your document that you're going to be uploading.
Perfect. All right, I think that's all the questions in the chat. And I think there was a couple follow-up items from our end. So we will be sure to reach out with that as well. So I can kind of wrap us up here then. And thank you, David, for kind of showing us that functionality.
No, thank you for the invitation.
All right. Perfect. So just a couple of wrap-up items. You can reach out to us if you're interested in what you saw today. You can reach out to kind of either of those emails down below, and we'll route those to our team accordingly. We do have obviously a monthly webinar series. So the next webinar is on Thursday, December 18th, and that will be all around executing a year-end checklist within Acumatica. So if that's an interesting topic to you, feel free to scan that QR code and register right now. We'll also be sending over an invite. And then lastly, we do have kind of one upcoming event specific to SVA consulting. So I'll let Austin kind of take this slide and walk us through this update here as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kaylee. So this upcoming Tuesday, November 18th, in Madison, we are hosting a free event. It is an AI roundtable event designed to bring together a variety of experts in the area of AI from a variety of industries to speak to how they're leveraging AI in their business. Some of the discussion will be around things that are specific to Acumatica, but it'll also be inclusive of other topics beyond Acumatica when it comes to getting the most out of AI, as it's obviously a topic that's top of mind for many and an area of technology that is rapidly evolving. So if you are in the southern Wisconsin or northern Illinois region, I highly recommend considering signing up for that event if you're able to. Again, it's a free event, and there is a QR code in the lower left corner of your screen that you can use, and that'll bring you directly to the sign up or RSVP page.
Awesome. All right, well, with that, that's all we had for today. Reach out with any questions you have or additional information or interest, and we'll be in touch. So thank you.